Sorry, hit the wrong button. I want to thank you all. Welcome to the XR News Innovation Spotlight. Sorry, we always do that. That's part of being in VR, is talking for hours while being muted, and then somebody says, you're muted. There you go. All right, so welcome everyone to the XR News Innovation Spotlight. XR News is produced by educators in VR, and every Wednesday, we're here in Engage XR, and we have, on the first Wednesday of the month, we have the XR News Med Health event with Rachel, where we focus on medical and healthcare topics in XR and have amazing interviews and all kinds of discussions. It's really fascinating. We do our regular news on the second and the fourth Wednesdays of the month, and then we have this show, the XR News Innovation Spotlight, on the third Wednesday of the month. You can catch up with the events, all of our activities, all of our shows and everything on our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, the routine, on our Discord. You can watch the videos when they come out, because this event is being filmed, when it comes out on YouTube. And you can find all the information. When we make references to anything in here, we will post that information as soon as we can on our Educators in VR Discord, so you can keep up with all of the cool things we talk about. Now, we cannot do this without the amazing support of the Reinhardt Foundation, Girls STEAM Institute, Virtual World Society, Bridge Makers, Engage, Immersive, the iLearn, Immersive Learning Research Network, Vertex Form 3D, and the Cadets Metaverse. These are amazing partners with Educators in VR and with the XR News, and so we're really, really thrilled that they are helping make this possible. So now let me introduce to you, I'm going to start with a guy who's not here right now, but he will be later on, is Chris Madsen, who is a senior sales and engineer rep for Educators in VR and an amazing pioneer in immersive technology. The incredible Maxwell McGee, oh my God, I could talk about you for hours and hours and hours. Incredible professor, voice actor, pioneer in immersive technologies and education, and the incredible grandfather of VR, Dr. Tom Furness, is here and so get ready. We're going to have a great hour. And we're going to have some crazy, as expected. So it's over to you guys, all you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for being here at our XR Innovation News Spotlight. It is such a pleasure to be hosting this show, especially with the legendary Dr. Tom Furness. I cannot say enough wonderful things about Tom, who now I have known for a number of years, actually. I think we met originally in 2019 at the original event where Educators in Virtual World Society were announcing by Daniel Dubosky Bryant and yourself, Tom, that they were partnering up. And I remember seeing that and just saying to myself, I want to just be involved in this community. So I remind you of that every time that you and Daniel, Educators in VR Virtual World Society, this was the reason that I started getting hardcore involved in the XR community. So I want to thank you for that, as I always like to.
Well, Maxwell, you have to know I fell in love with you when you first opened your mouth. Yeah, what amazing voice this guy has. It resonates and made my whole body vibrate when you did that. And then since that time, you've done an amazing job of bringing community together in your podcasts. And now you've been teaching for a while and doing research, and you're an amazing guy. That's why I like to associate with this, with Laurel. She's of course a troublemaker from the very good day one, but it's great to be with you.
You guys
Laurel,
know me too well.
with Chris. Know you really well. There she is up there, and yeah. So what are we going to do today?
So
you have a dinner. Oh, by the way, everybody know that he's just got married.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Look at that.
Did
you notice his countenance has changed?
That's right.
I mean, he's not stooped over yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The burden you're carrying, right? Yeah.
I am so happy to be married.
Well, it's clear to me, and looking at your wedding photographs, that you married up.
I did. I definitely did.
Yeah.
I married an absolutely gorgeous, wonderful, and incredibly supportive woman. And it was the happiest day of my life, second only to the day I asked her to marry me officially.
Ah, yeah. Well,
which was
what in the
wonderful.
world does she see in you? I
I think it's really just the voice, and that's pretty much it. I
okay.
don't really have a lot of money. I don't
You have
have a
good
lot of
looks, though.
assets. Thank
Well, you
you,
have good
thank you. I
looks. Yeah.
maybe I think it's just that because I don't have a boat or a big house or anything. I just got those two things, and I'm nice to her. I'm nice to her.
Uh-huh.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
That really
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Good smile. Good smile. Yeah.
Thank
Hmm.
you.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'm
And yeah.
here in September, just so you know, here in September, I'm going to be celebrating with my wife 60 years of being married. Yeah. What do you think about
Wow.
that?
Oh my God, that's incredible. Well, I'm
Yeah.
definitely very inspired by that, just the 60 years of commitment and love, and congratulations, Tom, on 60 years in September.
Well, you sort of have to divide it up, the 60, into smaller increments because you have to get married several times, as it turns out. You know, the first time where you are right now is all just so the romance and the heartbeat and you know, you're blown away by all of this and by this wonderful person's by your side. So that's sort of the when you first are riding on cloud nine, right? And that
Yeah.
lasts for a while. Then at least in our case, you have kids. You know, you have kids. That changes everything. You have to
Yeah.
start over again. And now it's not about you two anymore. It's about the kids. And so you find that you're spending all your time with the kids. And then the kids grow up and they leave you. And you look at each other and say, what? What? And you have, who are you? And you have to get to know each other again. So you're getting married this third time. And then you get to be old like me and my wife. And then you say, are we really, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And we decide, you know, let's just hang in there until we both croak, you know,
Yeah.
and then so that's the fourth time. Was that fourth or fifth? I can't remember. Anytime you have to re-up. Now I'm sure everybody wanted to know that. This is part of an innovation meeting, right? Adventure. But the spotlight's on you, man. You did it.
Yeah.
You tied the knot. And
Absolutely.
wonderful lady.
I am so happy about it. I was sad though that I actually, because of the marriage being so close to AWE, I missed AWE, and anybody who missed the event, or people who were there from the event, I'm sure would love to
Yeah.
hear from the grandfather of VR himself. How
And
was AWE? What did you think?
well, first of all, any of you go to AWE this year? Okay, this is your first exposure to. Let me tell you, guys, this is like Woodstock. You probably don't know what Woodstock is. Uh, Anyhow, we won't use Woodstock as an example. Well, that's during the hippie time. You know, you
Yeah,
guys weren't probably around during the hippie time.
good vibes
But
though.
good vibes, yeah, good vibes. But AWE is morphed into probably the biggest love in our community in the world, because
Absolutely.
that's the way it feels. It feels like you're in with family, with a big
Yeah.
family. And because, you know, the neat thing about XR, VR, AR, MR, all of these R's, is that it really doesn't belong to any one community. Because you know, certainly the engineers and the software guys were involved in the very beginning, but not anymore. I mean, now the content is being built by pretty much everybody, by artists and by poets and by storytellers, and so what you get is this whole combination of the guys that deal with whirring electrons, those who would deal with bits, and those that deal with love and poetry and all this all together, just having a love in. And all of
Yeah.
us being so, I don't want to use intoxicated, but is a good word, intoxicated by this whole thing of being able to move our minds to another place using this technology with these headsets that we're wearing and so forth. So back to AWE 2025. Actually, every year has a theme. Last year's theme was that XR is really the interface to AI, because AI was really making this big splash last year. And pretty much in order to really have meaning, a lot of meaning with AI, that you need to have an interface for it. Now, it's interesting that AI now can be one of the best tools that we can use to actually build virtual worlds. And with generative AI and things like that, now it's not as onerous as it used to be. I mean, that was really the bottleneck, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You know, actually creating
absolutely.
these worlds. I mean, we had to use CAD tools to create worlds, pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, and so we're trying to develop three-dimensional worlds using two-dimensional tools.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Google came along with Tilt Brush. Tilt Brush gave us the first opportunity to go into a three-dimensional space and actually draw in 3 dimensions. And then Multibrush comes along where you could do that with 500 people. So 5 other people, not 500 people, 5 other people. So it'll be 6 of you drawing in this space. And that's really one of the amazing things that happened with Daniel and me. But I'll get back to that in a minute. So this year, you know, the whole, we've been all waiting for this big, I guess you'd say, tilting point, a pivot point where there's enough install base of people using this technology that, you know, it sort of carries itself. And and we're growing in numbers, but it's not happening exponentially yet. But it is a steady growth. And basically what Ori Unbar, the organizer of AWE, said, and this was the theme of this year, was XR is going mainstream. And everybody was sort of, there was some debate
Yeah.
amongst the people, but it was really a fabulous, fabulous meeting. We had lots of the diversity in the presentation. Qualcomm talked about the new headset, the new chips they're building for the headsets, including a new chip that runs a resident LLM in your headset. There's an LLM in your headset that you can use for, you know, basically interacting with the virtual world and with the LLM at the same time. And so lots of new technology, lots of new applications, of course, and especially what's going mainstream is sort of a shift away from a lot of games and more toward vertical markets, enterprise,
Absolutely.
medicine, a lot of stuff in medicine and in education and in design and entertainment. All of these things are now being the pull. I mean, up to this point in time, a few years ago, we were in push mode. We're trying to push technology out into the world. But now there's the pull. The pull now that, you know, I'm right now I'm consulting with a university who's starting a medical school from scratch, a brand new medical school. And they want to fill it with VR to train their doctors to do it a lot faster than it did before, and to do it worldwide where you didn't have to physically be in a medical school in order to learn to be a doctor. You could be anywhere in the world. And they not only that, did they want to speed up the process of training doctors, which we need more doctors and allied healthcare personnel, nurses, and so forth. But so we need them. We need a lot more, and it takes so long to do that now, to train now. But that whole process can be sped up. For example, when my lab and I at the University of Washington were building a number of training simulators for surgeons and other aspects of the practice of medicine. And one of the things we worked on was what was called a TURP, the transurethral resectioning of the prostate. Okay, now the guys get interested when we start talking about that, you know, and this is where you sort of go in there and core out things, you know, when you have an enlarged prostate and things like that. And what you want to make sure that the guys that are doing that know what they're doing. Because,
yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It can sort of ruin your whole day otherwise. So as it turns out, we built a simulator to train clinicians. Now, mostly a resident in urology maybe will have an opportunity over a 3.5-year residency that takes that long to maybe do 50 procedures, 50 TURP procedures on real people. And that's total of 50. And they don't ever, generally, they don't ever see anything different or unique, with the patients. But with the TURP simulator, we can put in all kinds of problems. They can be bleeders, they can be abnormal anatomy, all this kind of stuff. And guess what? They can do 50 procedures a day. And not only that, track exactly how precise they are in doing it. Precision, and even come up to the point where we train their hand-eye coordination using these tools, and it's just amazing the difference it makes. Now, this is no different than flight training or flight simulation with commercial airline pilots, and even in fighters, where I was involved in flying fighters as a flight test engineer back in my Air Force days. And so in order to be current, especially commercial airline pilots, they have to spend so many hours a year in simulators. And in the simulators, you have flame outs and you have hydraulic failures and power out and all these kinds of things that you probably will never see in the real airplane. But if you do see them, you know what to do because you've trained for that. And that's why you see how the brilliance of these pilots. And when they have problems like this, have a bird strike or something like that, they know exactly what to do. So back to AWE 2025. We saw all of these different in prisons, AR and VR being used in prisons. Amazing things are happening there. And of course, you've interviewed a lot of those people.
I did.
Maxwell.
I did. They were wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody's enthusiastic, but they want to cooperate with each other.
Yeah.
And they appreciate each other and the contributions everybody's made. And since I'm this old grandfather guy, I get to hug all the youngsters, and I'm sort of their granddad, and I get to advise them and have fun with them and things like that. So for me, the 2025 was about the gathering, about the people. It's always about the people. All of us were excited. We had lots of parties and fondling technology and going into virtual worlds. Alvin Graylin, who was actually one of my students, Alvin Graylin, used to be the president of HTC Vive in China, and he wrote the book, The Next Reality, along with Louis Rosenberg. Both of them, by the way, are on the board of directors of the Virtual World Society. Alvin is now the chairman of the board, and I was a founder of it. And you were a staff person.
Yeah, that's right.
Maxwell. And so, anyhow, Alvin and Louis Rosenberg and Shannon, Leslie Shannon, who's another member of the board of directors of the Virtual World Society, and Kent Bai, who is also one of the commentators about it, were in a debate about AI. It was fabulous. They were fighting and arguing with each other, and it was probably the most stimulating panel discussion I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
You need to watch it. You need to watch it on the YouTube channel, the XR.
Yeah.
Now, so the other thing though is about me. I was in a few panels, but the big spot for me was to give a keynote address from the main stage on the last day, and it was about my new, I guess my new passion, which is how can we use this technology to transcend the problems we have today. And one of the things that I've been running for a little while, and Maxwell, you're part of that too, is the Futures Committee of the Virtual World Society.
That's right. And
we started this about a year and a half ago with the idea of how do we have a future? Things are looking pretty dim and grim about what we're doing to the earth and what's happening with wars and governments and things like that. And it's sort of a bleak time, and people really need hope. And it's sort of like we're in a period of darkness. And so this committee, we started looking at, well, what can we hope for? How can we solve these fundamental, pervasive problems out there in the world? Like climate change and like the problem with wars and with and conflict and food and people that are starving and don't have jobs, idle hands, all these things. You know, we look at it, it's daunting to see those. I mean, even the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. How in the world are we going to solve those problems? Well, it's clear that no one person is going to solve it. No one government is going to solve them. And what we need is a oneness, you know, around the world, people working together for that. So we started working on, all right, let's take each one of these problems and see what we can do by solving them using the technology of our age, or at least identifying the new technology we need to have to solve these problems and getting people working together and things like that. So we were using a technique that I developed in teaching entrepreneurship at the University of Washington. It was one of the courses I taught, technology-based entrepreneurship. I hope this is interesting to you guys. I'm doing an awful lot of talking, and are you still want me to continue?
So I would love to hear about, and I'm sure everybody would love to hear, this pitch for the Light School. And I have terrible handwriting, so this is not a good representation of
but you did it.
How magnificent the Light School.
That's all right. Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So it turns out we started looking at these problems, and we're using. I'm personally been involved in a spinoff of 27 companies. You know, 2 of them are traded on NASDAQ, a market cap of about $15 billion. And this was done with my students and using this technology-based entrepreneurship approach. So we said, let's just adapt this and look at these problems. Well, guess what? As we started working, characterizing these problems and looking at how we could possibly solve them, we realized, you know, we're not really smart enough to solve those. And we came across what Einstein had been saying all along, which is you can't expect to solve problems using the same methodology that caused those problems to begin with. And that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to use a pedestrian way of doing it. And what we began to realize is that, you know, we got to get smarter. We have to start thinking differently. And the more we dug into that, we realized, you know, if we look at the attributes of a person that can solve these kind of problems, we realized that what we needed to become is transcendent beings. We needed to adopt these characteristics of a transcendent being. What is a transcendent being? Well, these are people that, you know, are not affected by the darkness and that are full of light. And what they are, they're kind, they're generous, they're creative, they talk to trees, they are healers, all of these kind of attributes which come from who we already are but don't realize it. And we, you know, in the past, we've looked at all of these final frontiers. What is the final frontier? Star Trek was looking for the final frontier. Space, the final frontier. But, you know, the final frontier isn't out there. The final frontier is here, is with us. We have 47 trillion cells inside of us. Each one of those cells has a form of consciousness. And because of this consciousness, they become an antenna. This antenna can receive and send signals, not only to other cells, but even outside the body. And more and more now we're realizing that we're really talking about quantum physics. Quantum mechanics in the quantum field. That's where consciousness lives. It is timeless, past and future. And by the way, in the quantum field, there is no time. Furthermore, it is present throughout the universe. And we connect to it through our bodies, through our minds and through our spirit, our whole soul. So basically what happened in this light school, we went down this rabbit hole. Said, oh my goodness, we need to figure out how to fly our soul ship. Now, this is what keyed me off to this idea of a light school. So when I was flying with the Air Force, a flight test engineer, I wasn't a pilot, I was a flight test engineer. And we had to go to flight school. In the flight school, you have to learn how, basically, the physics of flight. You learn how that works, and you have to learn about propulsion. You learn about communications, learn about, if you're in a military aircraft, about weapons and fire control, navigation, all those kinds of things. You have to learn about each of those. Sort of like going to medical school too. And so you do this in a ground school, but then you have to leave the ground school and go fly simulators. This is what the cockpit looks like, and this is how you fly. And so you fly it as a simulator. And you get enough hours in that simulator with these various functions you have to perform, cockpit procedures, trainers, and things like that. Then you actually go into the real airplane with an instructor pilot. An instructor pilot, you're actually now in the air, boring holes through the sky. Instructor pilot, basically your pilot that's instructing you helps you fly, and you learn the controls and what it feels like, because when you're on the ground, you don't necessarily get the G's and things like that.
Yeah,
you do in the real airplane. So as I started looking at the flight school is set up so you can fly this vehicle, this amazing, powerful vehicle. And I realized, is it any different with our soul ship? That's the problem. We don't know how to fly our soul ship. Everything is already there. Everything is there. All we need to do is to learn how to use it. All of our incredible capabilities.
Absolutely. And how can people get involved?
Okay, well, so that's why the idea of what we need is a light school.
That's right.
That is like the flight school. You just change one letter on that. And it becomes a light school. And then light school, instead of learning the physics of the earth, we learn metaphysics. And we learn about how basically to listen to ourselves and how to really see, hear, touch, understand. So the light school is really this new ecosystem we're trying to develop. It is indeed a school where you do all the things you would do in a flight school, including the practicum, where after you've learned these things, have you flown in the super cockpit for the soul, we call it. I don't know what you're looking at back here, but the super cockpit for the soul. And so our team is working on coming up with the roadmap of all the pieces that need to come together. Some of them are already underway. I've been working in my laboratory on the super cockpit for the soul with the modules already. Been working on that for 2 years. Nobody really knows about it yet. But that's going to be used in this light school, along with various instructional modules. Now, the reason my talk at AWE, and by the way, you can go watch it, just go to the YouTube channel for AWE and look me up. And I give this talk, and I talk about epiphanies and how I think last time we showed one of my epiphanies was the jump.
Yes,
where
that's right.
I did the jump. And that's because of Chris Madsen talked me into that. And that was confronting my fears. And it was an amazing experience. But also of course, another epiphany was when I actually put on my Darth Vader helmet that we had developed in the Air Force for the first time, which was true interactive, wide field of view VR. And that was an epiphany because I realized, oh my goodness, what we have here is something that'll change the world because it moves our minds. It makes invisible things visible. It will change everything. And that was in 1966 when I started working on these things and turned on this Darth Vader display in the late 70s, early 80s. And so from that, that was an epiphany. The other epiphany was the realization of this Einstein quote: we've got to change the way we learn, and we have to learn about our soulship. So we're starting this light school. We announced it at AWE, and that we're going to find out who's interested. Now, in my session, there were about 100 people, and they went to this particular URL.
That's right.
And they clicked on that, and they went to a landing page where they find out about the light school. And with this idea that they're signing up to show their interest in learning more, and perhaps even participating and helping to build it, and helping to fund it, and helping to do all kinds of different aspects of it. And these are storytellers, these are musicians, these are artists that just like at AWE, the mixture that we have, and probably in this room as well. So we're going to have a session in October. There'll be 2 dates that you can sign up for, and at that time we'll be unveiling the roadmap of what is needed for this light school, and our proof of concept, and our first MVPs, our minimally viable products for beginning the light school. And then, of course, we'll start taking on cohorts to do this. And so watch my video, the presentation. It gives you a good rundown on the light school, some of our rationale, some of the modules we're working on in the Super Cockpit for the Soul. And then you'll have a chance to participate.
Fantastic. Yeah. Will everybody please get involved in an initiative like this? This requires community. It requires cooperation. It needs people. People is what is going to make this magical. And of course, all the people here is what makes this show so magical.
That's right.
Because I want everybody today, as a little bit of a practice for the participation for the Light School, I want everybody to practice today building something together. So what I would love to do is, I have a little surprise for everybody. Today, we are going to be, let's actually raise our hand. I want quick hand raises. Who loves museums? Everybody loves museums?
Yeah.
Now everybody should be raising their hand. I mean, you got to have some love for some kind of museum. That's right. Thank you very much. Thank you. I feel like I peer pressured a few people. That's fine. But museums are a beautiful, beautiful thing. Today, what I want us to do is I'm going to bring us to a gallery, and I want us to build a museum display about XR and the history of XR together. How does that sound for everybody?
Yay!
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, as long as it is okay with the EDVR crew, I'm going to take us to Modern Gallery daytime, because I just love the sunlight, because I now work in a basement now in our new place. So I'm going to take us to some simulated sunlight, and let's go for it. All right. So if anybody hasn't experienced this before, it might go through a quick update real quick. Mine actually is, that's exactly what it's going to do. And I'm going to bring everybody to the gallery together. We're going to gather in the gallery. I think that's what my brain was trying to say. And we are going to build out a gallery, a museum of XR together in 3, 2, 1. Wait, 3, 2, 1. There we go. At the simple push of a button. I had to push that button twice, but that's my fault. My headset's acting funky. So today, we are going to be building this gallery together. Now, those who had experience with the show last time, we actually did a scavenger hunt. Now, today, again, part of the surprise is I have Meshi.ai loaded up on my computer, which is right in front of me. There it is. So right on my computer, I have Meshi.ai. So for a few lucky people, I will have AI build out a 3D model for you. Okay. So what I would love for us to do is, I would love, if it's possible, and again, with the permission of the EDVR crew, and remember, when you are given this permission, it is a privilege, the permission to load up 3D models and use your 3D pen. It is a privilege, Okay, so if we could allow that privilege for everybody, that would be wonderful. And if you misuse that privilege, obviously you will not be able to enjoy the rest of our show today. All right, so be respectful, be appropriate. If all of the kids in the Minecraft camps that I coach can be respectful and appropriate, then I'm sure this room full of adults or kind of adults, I don't know, maybe some of you are younger, but I'm sure this room full of children to adults can behave appropriately and respectfully. Okay. Now, there are actually plenty of sections. Each section has its own light displaying what is in the actual space. So I would love it if everybody could choose their own light space and put up 4 to 5 different art pieces representing the history of XR. I will give you an example straight from Meshi.ai. So I actually uploaded a 3D model, and this shouldn't slow things down too much as it loads up. Okay, cool. It's all right. Now, this is the simple version of it, but I just had to create a little Quest 3. Again, this is the simplified version of it, but I'm looking around. It looks like a lot of the spots are taken so far. Maybe I will go over here as a good example, this little light right here. So this is one of my examples that represents the history of XR. I actually am wearing a Quest 3 right now. I personally really love the Quest 3. I think that it's inexpensive, it's pretty affordable, and you get a lot of features for the price point, if I'm being honest. So what we want to do is we want to utilize 3D models and our own personal drawings and create our own art pieces, our own art display. Anybody who wants to know how to create 3D models, it is a simple method of bringing up your menu. So you can either bring up your tablet by pressing on your left-hand side. There should be a button that says tablet that you can pick, and one will appear like this. And on the menu, you want to go to the 3 little boxes that say IFX. All right, once again, the 3 little boxes that say IFX. And this is where you can pick from the list of 3D models. So part of the history of virtual reality and XR and AI, I'm going to use this mirror teapot. Now, it's usually on the front page. I personally really love this because this is a photogrammetry scan, and a really, really good looking one at that. And that is part of the history of XR, is really solid photogrammetry imported into virtual reality, right? So I loved, oh, that's so nice. I'm going to bask in that light a little bit because, again, I'm in a basement right now. Oh, that's good. Good vitamin D. Well, that's more like stars and stuff. So I guess I don't know how science works. But this is just an example of a couple of things that I've put together. Again, we want to have 4 to 5 things, so I have about 2 right now, and then you can utilize the 3D pen as well, which if you turn your left wrist towards your face, there is a button that says 3D on it with a little pen. If you click on that and put this, I'm actually going to write what I believe is a huge part of XR history. Is I don't know if that's me or if everybody's experiencing that. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, perfect. Okay, cool. Now I'm good. Excellent. All right, huge part of XR history. I'm going to write Dr. Tom Furness as one of my art pieces. Also, I'm pretty sure I have a picture of you, Tom, so I could have loaded that. So is everybody ready to get started? And then we will take a picture at the very end. Perfect. All right. So if we could allow permissions for 3D models, which looks like it's already happened. Again, anything related to XR technology. Oh, and I also think that the microphones are hard lock muted, so I don't believe anybody can unmute themselves.
He's fixing it. Thank you.
Gotcha. Just a quick announcement, everybody. We've got 10 more minutes in order to finish your gallery pieces. Once again, 10 more minutes to finish your gallery pieces. This is looking so epic. So nicely done, everybody, so far. Once again, nicely done. We got a couple minutes left. So start finalizing and finishing up your art pieces. And don't forget, before we go, we want to take a nice picture of your artistic expression of the history of XR. right, Laurel, what are we thinking? Do we want to take a big group photo with our
Yes,
museum?
we will. We're ready. Yeah, we're
All
ready.
right. Okay.
Whenever.
Okay. Now, can we do a picture with everybody standing by there? Can we get a wide enough shot for that?
Yes, I certainly can. I have a monster monitor, so easy.
Okay, perfect. Beautiful. All right. If I could have
I have
everybody
a
please
few
standing by your wonderful
screen.
art piece. Once again, if I could have everybody standing by your wonderful art piece.
Please.
And then we will take a picture upon the direction of our wonderful photographer.
I love the lights. Okay, is everybody by their models? Hang on, I'm gonna get bigger screen here because I got lots of screen. I'm gonna try to get everybody in. Okay, I'm gonna take a series of pictures. Everybody send up hearts. Yay, 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 yay. It takes just a minute to do each of these. Okay, keep going. Get those hearts going if you can. We love those hearts. And ups and Lance, you're in the middle of the picture. Okay, let me do another one. No, well, yes, but wait till I'm done. Okay, so we're trying to get here, and I'm trying to get over here. All right, the joy of having a big monitor, and we're going to have lots of fun with this. One more. All right, I think I got it. And the Lance is going around taking individual pictures, so just hang there for a minute. Maxwell, this is amazing. We've created this art gallery museum. This is like oh gosh, Tom, what would you describe? Is Tom Furness back? Because anyway,
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Yeah. How would you describe this beautiful thing? This is an example of each of us of a humanity. You know, this is where our interests lie. What would you call this?
This is a whole new way of communicating.
Isn't it?
This is a new language. We've created a new language here of expressing what's in our hearts that words cannot describe this.
Yeah.
Because we just have to go there and be there, and it's we need a more powerful language than we have with words.
Absolutely.
We need a spatial language,
Yes.
and this is a representation of spatial language, don't you think?
That is beautifully said. Beautifully said. And it's eclectic, which I love. It's representative and eclectic, which is just, and there's some things here. What is this thing? I've never seen the skeleton with the person in it. Is that an NPC with a skeleton in it?
Yeah.
It is.
That's very clever.
That's genius. Very clever.
See? That's very clever.
That's sort of it's creativity on the fly.
One of the things that I do when we're teaching, I do the same thing with writing and photography, is I go with this minimalist kind of approach, and I say, okay, you have to spend a minimum of 20 minutes and park yourself, like for photography, in the bathroom. Go into the bathroom, and you have to lock yourself in for minimum of 20 minutes. I would prefer an hour. And what happens is students will go, okay, they'll take a picture of the toilet, the bathroom, the toilet, and the tub and the window and things like that. Then their mind will start to open. And they'll go, oh, there's a reflection in the faucet. What can I do with that? And then they'll start opening up the cupboards, and they'll go underneath and look at the pipes and play around with that. And their mind will open up to new connections and new possibilities. And while there are a ton of IFX, of models, 3D models and stuff that are in here, there's also a limit. And that forces people to be creative the same way. I love this. I love this. We got a beautiful picture there. Is that Delcine? Yay. Love that. So people use their own models that are familiar here as well as the ones available. This cow and the bulldozer thing is wonderful, Dot. This is great. And I just want to know who did was it Peter or Kavar? Who did the space person in this suit over here?
Peter.
Please tell us.
Peter did that.
Oh, Peter. Okay, so Peter, tell us about this.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was that, all these things requires time, planning, and high expectation, goals, to reach the space out there and have experience something what we can't experience normally.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, Tom, Maxwell, what do you think about that?
Incredible. Yeah. It's sort of taking things and connecting them together. The pieces, I have some abstract pieces with some physical pieces. Yeah.
But what a wonderful metaphor experience. Now, Karen is one of our hosts, and you have a round. Is it a planet on top of what, a pillbox?
Okay. No, basically what it is it's the basics of 3D building are a cube and a sphere, the primitives. But
Nice.
but actually that's not why I did it. The truth is it was just easy to bring cubes and this in. But then later I thought, okay, I'll just say that they're the primitives of 3D building.
Awesome.
That's very accurate. Yeah.
Awesome. You all did great. And so, okay, one last one. I really want to know about the desk. So is that you, Edward?
Yeah, that's me. That's working on. That
So
symbolizes
were you
working on
recreating?
projects. Working on projects. I mean, before a screen, like I didn't have a computer, so I put a screen up. The screen kind of designates a computer that you're working on, and you have different bureaus next to it, and you have a plant next to it. So that's like working on what's to come out. What's your next project? Like trying to figure out what are you doing.
I love it. And I love it. And I thought that's Kavar. That's with you with the swordfish and I thought it was part of the desk. What's that?
No.
A school education, a school of fish.
Nice.
Yes.
Clever.
So Tom and Maxwell, thank you so much for bringing this to us. Last comments, last thoughts? Because we could spend hours here.
Oh, this is what it's all about, is play. That's when the creativity happens, when you're just having fun doing things and learning in the process. And realize you're just amazed at what you are able to create that way.
Absolutely. Did you all have fun doing this?
Yes, it was really fun.
Yeah,
and
look
especially
at how
to do it together.
What we did this in less than 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm
Like
super
15, 20 minutes?
like, and I'm like inspired to become transcendent so I can help with the school of life.
Well, sign up. This is exactly what we need. This may be actually one of the experiences in the School of Life.
Yeah.
This kind of thing would be one of the experiences.
It's wonderful. Maxwell?
I just want to thank everybody for coming by and engaging with the experience. For me, especially as an educator, engagement is everything. I mean, it really is. It makes education fun, exciting, but it also makes it work. For me, it makes it work. So this was a wonderful experience, and thank you everybody for engaging with this activity, engaging with fun, and please make sure to sign up for the Light School. Please, please, please.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. That sounds fascinating.
It is. And thank you, Karen. And also, next week, our XR News is going to have a real special, because we're getting ready to take our break in August, and we're going to have a really special discussion as well as bring you the news that we do from across the metaverse all the time. And so Karen and Steff and all of our team and you, the audience, we're going to talk about the future of XR, and you just witnessed it. You just witnessed part of that in talking about what's happening with AWE, with what's going on with the Light School that Tom Furness is working on, and just being here in this gallery. You all have witnessed this. And so that is so exciting. So we're going to be talking about the future of XR in addition to the news. And then the next Wednesday, I cannot believe that it's here so fast. On the 30th, we're having a very special XR News and Educators in VR summer party. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some games. We're going to be messing around with all kinds of fun things. And so you never know what we're going to do with that. And then we were going to be back. We're going to take our break in August, and we're going to be back in September. We have more things with Tom and Maxwell and Chris for our innovations spotlight. We have some amazing speakers already lined up and great topics with Rachel D for our Med Health edition for the first Wednesday of the month. And we are now tightening up our show after all of the revamping and remodeling we've been doing over this past 2 years with XR News and expanding it to weekly. I'm so excited. Are you all enjoying this? The changes that we've made?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Good. I love it. So we need your feedback. We need your help to keep this rocket flying. There I go. See, there's a flight reference for you, Tom.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. I'm glad you all had fun. This is amazing, and we're going to have more of that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maxwell. Thank you, Tom.
You bet.
Bravo.
Bye, everyone.
All right.
Thank
See you
you.
later. Thank you.
We did a thing!
We did a thing. There we go. Okay.